Welcome to the Hyper Growth Zone podcast. This is your go-to resource for personal growth, mastering communication, and influencing and persuasion techniques that will help you unleash the full potential of yourself and others. Here is your host, Alex Morgan.
Have you ever walked into a room and felt like everyone was judging you? Like every glance, every whisper, every sound, every look was somehow aimed at you? So this feeling, it can be intense. The truth, though, most of the time, do you really think that's true? Because it's probably not. So people, they're often not out to get anyone. So on this episode, we're going to look at why you, or maybe people you know, often feel like people are out to get you, and why that's usually not true. So my name is Alex Morgan, and I'm a master trainer of hypnosis and NLP. So thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Hyper Growth Zone podcast. If you think this is going to be interesting for someone you know, definitely go ahead and share it. So people, they're not really out to get us. That's not true. So a lot of people, there's common scenarios that probably happen. Maybe you've had an awkward social encounter. Maybe you even feel like you've been left out. Or maybe you've received unclear messages from people. However, do we really know why that person that we're creating our story in our mind, do we really know why that story is being created? Have we asked that person if it's true, if they are leaving us out, if they did want to make things awkward, or if they did want to send us an unclear message? Because you need to then ask people why they're doing what they're doing. Really, the thinking behind this is you're almost putting yourself in the spotlight. It's like everyone is looking at you. And chances are, that's not true. Or you're distorting the reality. This happens to a lot of people. Because anytime there's an event that happens, we bring that event inside of us with our five senses. So, visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, gustatory. So, visual, sounds, feelings, taste, smells. And once you bring that into your neurology, there's so many bits of information coming at you that your mind possibly can't filter all of it so easily. So what does it do? It distorts it. It deletes some of it and it generalizes it based off your unconscious filters. So the way you create your model of the world, the way you create reality based off of your programs. So if someone is looking at you, or there's an awkward moment, or you receive some sort of message and you're not sure, you may be distorting something. You may be deleting something, or you're generalizing something that that person didn't even mean. So it's important to think, what is that person's intention? Why are they doing what they're doing? It doesn't actually make sense that someone would be targeting you. I mean, how many times in your life have you actually been targeted by someone, do you think, with bad intentions? Now, yes, you've probably met some people in your life who are not good people. I'm sure they had bad intentions. Let's throw those experiences out the window here. I'm talking about people that you've been around, people that actually matter. Do you think people are really out to get you? Even people at work, friends, people you come across. I'm sure there's some people at work that may be out to get us. However, we may be distorting, deleting, and generalizing things. So there's actually some different reasons why people aren't out to get you. And it's quite interesting, so let's go through some of these. The first one, I think this makes total sense, and I'm sure you've heard this before, and I'm sure that you've thought this yourself. Number one, People are focused on themselves. Imagine that. What are you doing most of the time? Who are you thinking about most of the time? Whose head? Whose mind? Whose feelings? What sounds? What pictures are you creating in your mind? And who is doing that? You. So think about it. How much time do you spend each day focusing on yourself? And how much time do you spend focusing on other people? Chances are you're probably focused on you, your successes, your problems, your solutions, your challenges. You're probably not focused on thinking something about another person and how to get them. So if you think about it like this, and you were then to kind of step in someone else's shoes, do you really think that they're spending a lot of time not on their problems, not on their challenges, not on their solutions, not on their successes, and they're actually out to get you? Chances are, logically, this doesn't really make sense, because we also have like 95% of the same thoughts every day unless we change or reprogram something. So if you're thinking about something today and you haven't solved it yet, chances are you're thinking about it tomorrow and the next day until you do something about it, until you shift your focus. So most people's focus is going to be on themselves, and that's going to create their reality. Now, unless you're someone who is always thinking about other people and what they're doing, and you're out to get other people, then chances are, guess what? You're going to see the mirror of people out to get you. However, most people, they're going to be focused on themselves. I think this makes practical sense. And if you think about it, who are you focusing on? And now if you are focused on other people all the time, you may want to shift your focus. Now that you're consciously aware of this, you may want to ask yourself, what do I want to focus on instead? What do I want to do instead? So people are focused on themselves. Number 2, chances are people are not out to get you because you're not the center of their story. So this kind of goes with number 1. However, even maybe in relationships that you've been in, when you really loved another person, who was the center of their story? They were, not you. They're taking their care of themselves first, before you, unless they're a total people pleaser or something like this. However, if you want a balanced relationship, chances are you need to take care of yourself first. So this is one example. Or let's say at work. What are people doing at work? They're taking care of themselves first. They're making sure that they're going to meet their quota, meet their goals at work so they can take care of themselves and their family. They're probably not thinking about you as the center of their story. So think about the times that you've been at work and you've been in relationships, or maybe it's a relationship that you're in now. Who's the center of your story? It's probably you. You're probably not the center of someone else's story. Does that make sense to you? I think you're starting to get this. I think you can see how this doesn't make sense. So the third one, misunderstandings doesn't mean that there's bad intent. Maybe you see a weird look. Maybe you got a cold response or not the response you were looking for. However, that doesn't mean that the person was having a bad intent. That doesn't mean that they meant to personally attack you. You need to ask them why they're doing what they're doing or why that happened. Maybe they didn't even notice it. That wasn't their intention. It was some unconscious thing that happened because maybe they have anxiety that day. Maybe they were stressed. Maybe they were distracted. Maybe the day just wasn't going as planned. So just because you have a bad look or someone said something to you, it doesn't mean that they have a problem with you. It could mean that they have a problem with themselves. And maybe they even thought that you did something when you had no intention of doing. So it's always good to ask people why they're doing what they're doing. So people that usually don't have bad intentions, like I said. So number 4, negative thoughts, they can distort your reality. So if you have anxious thoughts, or you have fears, you have sadness, you have some sort of other negative emotion, or maybe someone else does, this thinking, this emotion, it may trick your brain into seeing threats when there isn't one. So your perception isn't always the reality that's actually happening. Remember, you can ask someone, why are they doing what they're doing? So if you're around someone and you notice that they have negative emotions, they have fears, they have something, you can get curious. You can ask them what's going on. Chances are they're not out to get you. They just may be projecting something that they don't like in themselves, or that they have negative emotions about, something they're going through that they haven't resolved yet. And they're projecting that out into their reality, and you happen to be the one that's the receiver of that communication, that information, that look, that action, whatever it is. So it doesn't mean that they're out to get you specifically. Maybe they're comparing something in their mind that's not always their reality. Number 5, maybe you argue with this one, maybe you don't. However, most of the people that I've been around in my life, I've noticed this. Most people, they want synergy, they want harmony, they want peace, they want calm, they don't want drama. So if you are working on yourself, chances are you're going to meet a lot of people who genuinely want to get along. Most people, they want things to be easy, comfortable, and beneficial. They're not looking to hold grudges, target others, make other people's lives miserable. Now, yes, I'm sure you've heard the phrase, misery loves company. So yes, there are going to be people who are probably miserable, and they're going to be taking no fault for what they're doing, and they're going to be blaming others, and they're going to want other people to jump in with them on this victim mentality. However, these are a select few. Now, when this does happen, it does kind of stand out, because this anxious, negative thinking, it can think, okay, to you, this is a threat, so it magnifies it a bit. However, when's the last time someone really went off on you or got really upset? Probably not very often. Most people, like I said, they want harmony, synergy, calm, peace. So many people say there should be more kindness in the world. I mean, when's the last time someone actually did something to you that was really, really mean? Or when did you see something that was really, really mean? There's kindness all over the place if we're actually looking for it. And number 6, you've been living and surviving and doing really, really well this long for a reason. So think about this. If people were out to get you, would you have been this successful for this long? If you think about it, if you didn't distort, delete, generalize, the things that are actually happening, it actually shows that most people have positive emotions, that they are kind, that we are here to help each other. So look back on all the things that you've accomplished, and you accomplished all of those things because of you and because of people that were around you that supported you. So the reality is, most likely, you're enjoying a really good reality because of the choices, the decisions, the opportunities, the possibilities that are out there for you. And if you're not, then you need to consider things that you haven't considered before. Consider new choices, consider new possibilities, opportunities. Who else you could hang out with, designing your ideal environment. Because if you want to get what you want, and you're thinking that people are out to get you, it's going to be hard to get what you want. You're going to make it really, really hard. And if you want to make it really, really easy, then you need to change how you think. You need to get rid of these limiting beliefs, these negative emotions, because it's not worth it, is it? Have you ever been around someone who thinks people are out to get them? Not only does it drain all their energy because they have insecurities, it can actually drain you because they're pushing those insecurities on you. So if you notice this, I'm not saying that you just have to cut important people out of your life. However, you may want to start designing your ideal environment. You need to practice self-awareness. You need to ask for clarity from people instead of assuming that they have a certain intent. Talk to people you trust. Write down your thoughts. Think about things that you want instead. These are all ways to easily and effortlessly change this, because the world isn't against you. It's probably not even focused on you. And you probably get some freedom thinking about that now, don't you? So chances are no one is really out to get you. Like I said, there may be some people who really can't stand you for whatever reason. However, they probably can't stand themselves either. And they're trying to do something that probably won't happen, because now that you've listened to this, you're unflappable. Nothing will really happen because you're thinking totally different now, aren't you? So observe people. Observe thoughts. Observe the thoughts that you have without judging those thoughts. Because if you're doing that and you're just thinking, I'm just here observing my thoughts, I'm just here observing my emotions, that's what we're probably doing here. That's one of the purposes that we have, to observe our thoughts and to observe our emotions. And if we have no judgment as we do that, we're not out to get anyone. And if we're not out to get anyone, then no one is going to be out to get us either. So definitely share this with someone who will benefit. I really appreciate everyone listening. Go ahead and leave a review wherever you are listening. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope to see you on the next episode.